and we should be live. First live chat completely in English for our international players with the mighty translator Alex Valente. We are sorry if we had a little bit of a lag, but technology today is not helping us in any way, shape, or form.
It's
so
bad behind the scenes.
Yeah, you almost got a view of me like crying against whatever was trying to block me and Alex from hearing each other. But as you can see, we solved it. And Alex, you are drinking something that I envy very much, but I have a beautiful glass. So
it's just cold brew with oat milk. It's coffee.
I'm jealous. Yeah,
it's iced coffee because it's 9 a.m.
I'm sorry. Yeah, guys, Alex is here live with us from Canada, whereas we are in Europe. So thank you, Alex, for accepting to do this chat with us. And
my dog likes to be up at 7 a.m. anyway, so this is. I slept in today. It's great.
So today we are here to talk about Helluva Town, but first of all, maybe introduce yourself for maybe the people who still don't know who you are, even if you already are quite the presence in our international live streams by now.
Hello, you can't escape. My name is Alex. You might find me on the internet as Alex V, because it's easier to say than Alex Valente. Everyone gets the last E wrong. I am a translator. I started out in literary translation, and then I started doing game-related, RPG-related translation in 2019, I believe. So actually just a couple of years after I started getting into book translation. And there's a couple of strategically positioned shelves right behind me over here. But I translate mostly from Italian into English and some English into Italian, and I have dabbled with French sometimes.
So you're a triple threat.
Triple threat, yes. Oh, and I'm a GM. I'm a semi-pro GM. I do GM for hire. I'm running 6 games this week, which is I hadn't considered saying yes to everything when I was saying yes to everything.
And yet you did.
Well, I write everything down on the calendar, but I don't look at the calendar when people ask me things. So it's.
But that's the. Yeah. I mean, I do the same. So absolutely, that's the way to live. You say yes, and then you try to
say yes, and then you cancel last minute. It's fine. It's fine.
And for example, you could also say yes to GMing some Helluva Town game sessions.
I think I said yes to Samuel already. I think.
Yes, you might. Yes, you might have. But we'll talk about that later. Maybe we do also a post about it. So today we're here talking about Helluva Town. While we wait for some questions, maybe from the public, let's talk about what actually is Helluva Town.
What is Helluva Town? Well, what is Helluva Town?
Helluva Town is what it to be, but maybe to just give a definition in your own words.
Every now and then, Acheron Games comes to me and says, "Hey, we came up with an idea," and I go, "Oh no," and then it's, "Oh yes." Every time. But Helluva Town specifically is a game set in the worst kept secret neighborhood in New York City in the 1930s. And the neighborhood is Helluva Town, and it's so big and defies all physics and borders that it just became its own city that both exists in New York and exists beyond New York and is also just its own world. Think Toontown from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Think the Looney Tunes world in Space Jam. It's that element of like it exists in the real world, but it doesn't exist in the real world. It's kind of like a mixture of those two. And you play as toons. Your characters are toons. They are a variety of different kinds of types of toons, and they don't obey the laws of physics, the laws of morality, the laws of any law, really. They just don't obey any law at all. And that's pretty much it. It's subtitled as Cartoon Gangster RPG, and you can be a gangster, but you can also literally be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
City exploding with opportunities.
You are a gangster. You did a perfect summary, Alex. As always, you exceed my expectations.
Thank you. I had to learn all of this so I could translate it.
I'm gonna steal all of these in a pure Helluva Town fashion and use this definition whenever someone asks me what it actually is. But I also think that it's important to touch upon the fact that it's not only an RPG, and then you are probably, gonna go towards your dice collection and say, oh yes, what kind of dice may I use to play this cartoon character? None, because you don't use dice, you use cards, right?
Yes. I think it's one of the interesting things about it is that it is incredibly easy to learn the rules of. Like, if any of you have seen the actual play that I did with 4 of my friends, I taught them the rules in the 5 minutes before I hit recording, and I was supposed to hit recording and then teach them the rules, and then I just got distracted. So you would have seen just how quickly people learn the rules. But you have a full deck of poker cards, jokers included. You draw 2 cards for every resolution, any action that might have consequences, any action that could be funny if it fails, or if it could help with the plot moving forwards if it fails or succeeds. It's more fun to fail. 2 cards, you sum the values of the cards, you sum that to your stat, done. That's it. There's a couple of extra like bones and bells and whistles, but that's the core. 2 cards, sum the value, add the stat.
Yeah, it's awesomely easy. And I say awesomely because sometimes maybe you just want to have fun and not pass your evening trying to do some weird calculation about have you actually hit the monster or not, and then how much. You just want to role play and invent and have fun and be a little silly also, because obviously, being that you are a cartoon, you, as you aptly said, it does not concern the law of physics. So
or anatomy,
exactly,
or anything that has anything contained within a physical space.
Yeah. For example, I've seen people during live play sessions and gameplays and such doing some really crazy, silly, out of their mind stuff. And so just to give an example to our potential players, what's the weirdest thing that someone did when you played Helluva Town?
I have my go-to example is, I believe this was during one of the playtests, but we had someone rip the road out of the ground to turn it around so that the enemies would just start running backwards, just to avoid being hit. It's just like, rip the road. Again, very Roger Rabbit. Just take the road up, turn it around, and then just go, because they're still following the road, so they go in the opposite direction.
Absolutely. The pure cartoon logic.
Yeah. What was one in the game that I played with Aramfi, Bella, and Blair? We had Mads Bunny use a gun that he was dreaming about. So he saw a gun in a different scene, and then in a later scene, he was dreaming about the gun, and he took the gun from the thought bubble to just use in the scene that he was using at the time.
Adoro. I love it. I'm sorry. It was such pure declaration of love that I had to say it in Italian. I love this kind of stuff. That's why it's so fun to, try and convey what is Helluva Town. It's complete freedom to do whatever you want in an RPG and be whoever you want, because characters being toons have the freedom also to be whatever they'd like to be within. We put out certain categories, but really you can develop your character as silly, as serious, as completely.
Do you want to give him a tragic backstory when the rain just hits your face every time you go out? And you can. It's fine. It's great.
Yeah.
But you will be playing with someone who is a pink
Exactly.
fluffy bunny rabbit using a machine gun.
Yes, exactly. It's the kind of dynamic that I often see when people play with our pre-generated characters, like Billy Mocaccino, very serious, very almost, the long sleep kind of character, like Chandler, like, oh yeah, I was a detective.
Yeah, that's what Billy Mocaccino kind of talks a little bit like this, He's like, a dame walked in one day and she had too many legs, way too many legs. She was a spider dame.
Exactly. And then there's Matt Bunny, who literally is a Mad Bunny.
Yep. And I think I mentioned this in a Swiss Army chainsaw.
Swiss Army,
yeah,
exactly.
I mentioned this in the actual play, but the pink bunny with chainsaw is a specific reference to an Italian comic book that one of the writers or one of the Acheron team are a big fan of and has written for. But it's like one of the very, very early issues in the comic series called Dylan Dog, which US audiences might also know from at least one film and one we don't speak of. But if you've ever seen De la Morte dell'Amore or Cemetery Man, which was the original Rupert Everett version, and then the Brandon Ruth remake, Mystic. But that's Dylan Dog. So the pink bunny rabbits with chainsaws, homicidal bunny rabbits with chainsaws, is a specific reference.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as we did a lot of references to basically all the cartoons, all the ideas that shaped us as persons, but also pop culture, because we drew inspiration basically from the animation that started it all from the 30s. So the Silly Symphonies, the Max Fleischer short movies, and then all the way up to Roger Rabbit and the Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, and then again to today's animation. So, Cuphead, that it's a kind of a full circle, because we started from the 30s and then we arrived to cartoons that are inspired by that kind of aesthetic, that kind of narrative rhythm and style. And also because, well, the moment we thought about this game, we thought, okay, we have to go with a very specific kind of design and feel and artistry. And then we met Sean Dickinson, from whom we'll publish an interview. So he'll answer a bit of questions about how was his work on Helluva Town. We'll do that on our social media pages. So stay tuned for that. And
stay tuned.
Yeah, we've done that joke many times, but it's always funny. Yeah.
Never
because
old.
Characters, I don't think we've said that actually, but characters are called toon. So
yes, characters are called toons, like toons, capital T. And you get NPTs, which are non-player toons, which are everyone that lives in the world except for the players.
Yeah. And since we talked a little bit about toons and character creation, do you want maybe, Alex, to just give a rundown on what are the basic pillars you can use to create your character in Helluva Town? So that
can I? Do I have that information? Have I ever been told that information? We'll find out. Let's do it live.
I mean, the four type of characters that you can. Yes, you had that.
I have that information. I don't know how to generate a character yet. I have not been given that specific information, but I know what goes into the basics of a character.
Yeah, just so that it's clear that Alex has all the information available. We haven't given that out yet, but we will, obviously. the complete book that we will hopefully produce the moment our Kickstarter campaign goes well. And that said, I am going to post in the next few seconds the link to our Kickstarter campaign, which I warmly suggest you to follow, because that number of people following the campaign helps us, also to try and do a projection of what we can dream of what we can, try and prepare for the campaign, and ask Sean to do new characters, new layouts, cool stuff, new cool stuff, which will
Do
reveal.
you want me to try sharing my screen
the
so I can show the character sheet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see this one.
Tell me when.
I think it's ready to go.
Okay, just give me a sec. Yeah, here it is.
There we go. So your character sheet. Look at that.
Yeah.
And I really love when manuals do this. Like, I'm obviously biased because I am working on the project as the translator, but I really enjoy when the graphics department really helps players understand just how easy of a game it is to pick up. So this is the entirety of your character sheet, and I'm pointing at things, but obviously I can't I can't touch them. But you can see that your main stats are your touchy, feely, handy, loony, and I'm very proud of those names. Touchy is everything that has to do. Touchy is everything you have to do with anything that has to do with physical activities. In Dungeons and Dragons, you're looking at constitutions and strength. Some dexterity might even be in the touchy, just like anything that has to do with your physical presence as a toon.
Yeah.
Feely is anything that has to do.
Let's get an example for them. Like, for example, yeah, I do like Matt's bunny rotating his ears so quickly that it becomes an helicopter and flies away.
Yeah, that is definitely touchy. You're using your physical presence to do something, even if it is using cartoon logic. Touchy can also be using a machine gun that shoots tiny machine guns that shoot tiny machine guns that shoot tiny machine guns. So you can extend the range. Obviously, the machine guns are loaded with cucumbers.
Obviously.
Obviously. So that is anything that has to do with physical presence. Any physical attribute of the toon is using touchy. Feely is the emotional, social interaction. You want to talk your way out of something. You want to unravel your tongue in such a way that the tiny little friends that you just made walk back into your mouth, and then use them to speak on your behalf so you can convince the fish syndicate in Jellyfish Junction to let you use one of their rockets. That's Feely.
Yeah, absolutely. Or then when you are, how do you call that in English, Alex? All the instruments you use to play vinyls and such.
Oh, the collective name, winds.
Yeah. No, the
woods.
Like, not a CD player, but it was the
gramophones.
Gramophones. I played a gramophone once, and I used my Feely ability by playing a Frank Sinatra record to seduce someone.
Oh yeah. If nothing else, you did it your way.
Yeah, exactly. I got that.
Well done.
That vinyl to the face of that person, but
handy is anything, yes, still physical, but you are specifically looking at things that have to do with tinkering, with fixing, with mending, with using your hands in a way that is, or using not just your hands, using any part of your body, using any external tool to assist you or to make it worse for everyone involved. So trying to drive something, trying to use a tool that could be a weapon in your hands, it probably is. anything that has to do with picking locks.
Which will do aplenty.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you want to talk to the lock, and maybe the lock has a good story to tell you instead.
Yeah, but sometimes you just have, to shut the lock up and and go over the door.
Yep. And then you have Looney, which is literally everything else. Looney is anything that falls under using cartoon logic in a way that isn't directly related to physical, social, or hands-based, dexterity-based. So Looney, I had a Billy Mochaccino who kept filling bullets in his gun by just filling them out of the espresso inside him. So he kept bubbling up with espresso to be able to refill. And it was is it Touchy? Is it Looney? It's probably Looney in this case. So Looney is where we went with that one.
Yeah, I had we had a Luna with her devils, using one devil to create the bottom of a balloon, and then another devil all stretched to create another balloon, and then she took another character which is called the Molotov, which has a little bit of fire and alcohol inside.
I love Matchlock. She's great.
Matchlock, yeah, it's awesome. To create some kind of reaction, and then use the devils to fly away in a own makeshift balloon. That's Looney. That's the looniest thing.
You are, yes, technically you are using the physical body of something, but it's so beyond the laws of physics that it falls under cartoon logic and cartoon
and
physics.
It's not your body; it's someone else.
Oh yes, someone else. You're blowing someone else up. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
So those are your four main stats. And then your main inventory and just things that you can do, you have the tricks and you have the pocket. The pocket is where all of your items go. It's basically hammer space. It's where the giant hammer, all of the guns that you can hide on your body without being able to actually hide on your body, goes into your pocket. Anything that you pick up through the game goes into the pocket. And then there are tricks, which are abilities that each toon has, which will be, determined when you create the character at the beginning. Some you might be able to pick up as you go through the game. They are usually applicable only once per situation, like a scene that is involved, or once per showdown. So if you're in combat, you can't keep using tricks because some of them are quite powerful. Just draw extra cards and choose which one is the best one.
I mean, we wanted to put some, something spicy into the gameplay, just to throw a wreck into what maybe can become a little bit too simple, too difficult. Sorry, also because as you have a lot of powers, also the animator, which is the GM's name for this game, has a lot of powers too, being that the character, the non-playable toons he moves or she moves, are as as loony as you, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite parts about games like this is that the GM never draws cards, never rolls dice. There's no mechanics involved on the GM side other than responding to what the players are doing. If the enemy is fighting against your character, you're the one drawing cards to determine how it goes. So you tell the animator what you're doing, you draw cards. If you're successful, you don't get hit. If you fail, you get hit and something happens.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the things that we worked on when we wanted to develop a rules light system. As Alex said in the beginning, we really wanted something that could be explained in 5 minutes. Then you start playing, and you can even do that almost like you play a tabletop game, I would say. The rules are really that simple. And then you role play and have fun.
Because the only other mechanics that you need are the bonks, which is how many hits you can take before you are in horrible, horrible debt to the person who killed you, because toons don't die. Toons never die. You've seen cartoons. You see what happens. You can be sliced up and just come back as a pile of slices moving around the place.
Or maybe, there's a kind of spirit with your resemblances and wings that, flies away from you and then comes back. Something like that.
Yeah, the memorable scene from Who Framed Roger Rabbit with the weasel that still manages to mess everything up, even though it's a ghost floating up to heaven.
Exactly. So you touched on one of the main pillars of the game, so debt. Want to talk about it?
Debt is not mechanical. It doesn't give you like bonuses or maluses. It doesn't give you a modifier that you apply. It basically tells a story. Debt is when you owe something to a non-player toon, to a character that is involved in your backstory, a character that you encounter throughout the adventure, then that is how the animator gives you hooks for things that can happen during the game. You owe a debt. In the quick start, if you play through, your characters begin owing a debt to the Ducko family. They're all incarcerated together. They got protection from the Ducko family. So you begin the game knowing that the Ducko family will ask you for something at some point in the game. And every time you lose horribly against a character, you accrue debt towards them.
But
I'm just being corrected.
No,
we have a comment correcting us about Roger Rabbit.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, but yeah, in Roger Rabbit cartoons die, but in our cartoons we like to see them live. So they don't
continue as dead as boogies,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. It could be a change of heart in the character. Maybe it becomes a Mads Bunny with but it's a skeleton. That would be fun.
Mads Bunny. There we go. Got it.
Oh, you are too good, Alex. You are too good. No, honestly,
this is just too noisy in here.
But you talked about one of the 4 groups. I don't like to call them species or races because it's basically groups. It's not like in D&D.
Yeah, it's more of an arbitrary category that is like it's easier to understand the world if you split them up, but they all exist together equally. There's no distinction between them. It's just flavoring your character. Yeah.
Which I let you present because I don't know their English names.
We have folks. Folks are humanoid. They look like humans. They're cartoon humans. Think of your Betty Boops, your Jessica Rabbit. I'm having issues trying to think about other human characters in cartoons.
Jetsons.
There we go. Thank you. The Jetsons, the park ranger from Yogi and Boo Boo. Yosemite Sam. Thank you, Valentino.
Yosemite Sam, absolutely.
And then you have the boogies. The boogies are all of these supernatural creatures: the devils, the ghosts, the skeletons, the zombies, someone else's Popeye and Olive. Also folks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then that's like, is eating spinach a loony-based ability, or is it a touchy-based ability?
It's a trick. In my mind, it's a trick.
Oh, that's a good point.
No, it's like a trick you can use as a character. Like
that's a good point. Yeah. So we have folks, we have boogies, we have stuff. Stuff is all of the inanimate objects that are very much animated and have sentience and a life of their own and dreams and wishes and hopes. It's your Billy Moccacinos. It's your
about to be by the reality of Helluva
Town. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm just thinking. It's very funny to me that we are in the mid-20s of the next century, and the situation worldwide is about the same.
No, let's not dwell into this
So this is the
into
perfect
this,
game for these times, is what I'm saying.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So the Camilla's gramophone that played Frank Sinatra to seduce someone, that is a stuff. Billy Mochaccino, who is literally a mocha pot with a submachine gun, is a stuff. And then you have the Beasties.
Matchlock.
You have Matchlock Molotov, who is a Molotov cocktail, and she can exchange her rag to do different things. If you look at her trick in the pre-generated character sheets, she has some very, very fun abilities that she can do with changing the rag.
While you keep describing that, let me share the link to our free access folder about Helluva Town in the comments. So people who maybe hasn't seen that yet, we can share it and they can start playing if they like what they are hearing.
Yeah. And then the last one is Beasties. It's your Scooby-Doos, your Yogi and Boo Boo, your Roger Rabbit, any animal that may or may not be an animal. And we had this question in one of my games is Goofy and Pluto in the same situation? Are they both beasties? Like, yes, all beasties are beasties. They don't have to be humanoid beasties. You could just be a dog. You just happen to be able to speak and have tricks, and maybe you use a giant bone-shaped hammer that instead of causing stars to come out of your head when you get hit with it, it causes bones to come out of your head when you get hit with it. It's your game. Do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to respect the outcome of the cards.
Yes.
Or do you?
Maybe.
Yes.
Sometimes.
But just maybe let's give a quick rundown on how exactly the drawing cards vis-a-vis dice rolling works. I mean, just so that really it is clear that in 5 minutes you are going to learn to play this game.
As we said, you have the 4 stats. You have touchy, feely, handy, loony. Each of them has a number associated with them, which when you generate your character, you will be able to generate. It's usually a number between 1 and 4. It's very unlikely to be that high, but between 0 and 4, sorry. So say you're in a situation where you have to jump over a giant Venus flytrap that is trying to snap its its mouth over you, as you need to get onto the other side, and the only way through is across. You can't go around, you can't go under, you have to go across. You decide you are going to wind up your bunny rabbit ears, and you're going to use them as a helicopter to fly over the Venus flytrap. We are going to use your physical attribute, which is touchy. So if your bonus on touchy is 2, you draw 2 cards, and you add the values of those cards to 2. How does values of cards work? It's the number that it says on the card. So a 2 is a 2, a 3 is a 3, a 5 is a 5. If it's a face card, it's a 10. If it's a joker, face card and ace is a 10. A joker card is a 10, and it's any suit that you want it to be.
Yeah, because suits are important too. As you see, all your characteristics are connected to a suit. So, club, hearts, spades, and the last one in
Diamonds.
English is diamonds. Thank you. And diamonds. And if you draw a card which is the same as the ability you are drawing for, you are gonna have a bonus +1. So that's it.
In our example, Mads Bunny is winding up his ears. He's going to use it on touchy. He draws 2 cards, which is an 8 and a 6, which means gives us it's going to be hard. 14. Is it? Yes, it's 14. 14 on touchy has 2 for a total of 60, depending on what the difficulty for the challenge was. Probably passed.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have different degree of success and different degrees of failure. So, even if you pass it just by 1 point, it's different than passing it with flying colors. And then failing it by 1, it's different than failing it by 10.
Maybe you fail and you accrue debt. Maybe you succeed and you gain some money. Maybe you succeed and you get an extra ability for next turn. Maybe you fail so badly that you lose all of your abilities for the next turn.
Yeah. So, for example, for this example that Alex talked about, you could fail so badly that you not only cannot go over the Venus flytrap, but you fall right in the middle of it, and she starts digesting you.
Yep.
Or you can pass so well the draw that you not only you fly over it, but the Venus flytrap, enamored by your incredible display of physical strength, decide to shut down and lets your friend pass because you entertained her so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a bit of the fun of Helluva Town, because this situation could have ended in any way. The success and failure are just indication on how to develop the scene, but it's the animators and the toons interactions that really goes creating the story. And we've seen that beta testing and then playing it at conventions and online, that a single adventures could potentially have I don't know, 50 different outcomes, hundreds different outcomes, because it really is different for every table, for how every player decides to play their character, basically.
I believe I have played the quick start twice, and I've run it twice, and I've never had the same story happen. Even though it's a set type of scenes and it's a set sequence of scenes, I've just never had the same story run all the way through.
Yeah, and I think that's a bit of the fun of it also, right? Because you almost get the sense of replayability, really,
Yeah.
if you really wanted to, because obviously in our future Kickstarter book, we will give tons of ideas already at the get-go, and obviously the more we hopefully manage to stretch our goal, the more ideas and settings and scenarios. This word is not used by chance, will unlock and that you will be able to use, and you'll have already a whole lot of ideas and adventures to play. But you could also, I don't know, you've been playing Helluva for quite a bit. Maybe you want to revisit one adventure that was really fun to all of you. You can do so, and be sure that you are not going to play it the same way.
And every encounter is the possibility for the story to take a completely different direction.
Yeah, exactly. The adventures, while I would say that they have a structure, so I don't want to say it's not railroaded, but it also, let's say you can build the railroad. You can.
If you've seen the jive, and I use the wrong pronunciation intentionally, of Sylvester the cat building. It's not Sylvester, sorry. It's Gromit from Wallace and Gromit building the train tracks in front of the train. That is very much what this game is about.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone please post it in the comments. Please post that GIF in the comments.
I will, if someone won't post it in the comments, we'll find it and then spam it everywhere. I think we touched the main points about how Helluva Town is going to work as a game. Let's just add a couple of words about the actual lore and setting of this game. Because we haven't talked about it yet, but I think it's one of its main strengths, because it's really we have someone that wants to come in your aid, Alex, but sadly
Anthony.
there's no way to post a GIF in or GIF or
That is
whatever.
that is. Please
But
show the next comment. Thank you. Yes,
thank
exactly.
you, Anthony. Thank you for the emojis. Yeah, it's perfectly done. Because I think it's one of its strengths, the fact that it's so psychedelic in a way. It's so completely different from what one is usually used to think about when one thinks about RPGs, because RPGs basically are divided in the mind of players, and whoever thinks about RPG.
It looks like I am alone on the stream right now, so I'm going to show a couple of things from the window while I still have it open. I think Camila was mentioning that the way in which you have story, trad, different ways in which role-playing games actually act. But we are going to show you, I'm going to show you over here, some of the locations in Helluva Town, including, here she is, Luna Satana, Green Gardens, which is the entertainment district, which, if you look into the lore, Green Gardens used to be something completely different. It was a very idyllic pastoral scene until someone came in and decided that they really liked gambling, and so Green Gardens was born, and the Maison de Ronron, one of the biggest, fanciest houses of ill repute, is set, as well as the biggest casinos in Helluva Town. We also have Shocktopia. I'm going to come over here.
I am back.
Hello.
Am I back?
We're in Shocktopia. Join us in Shocktopia.
I don't.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you as well. I can hear you as well. I'm terribly sorry.
I think you might be a little bit lagged, but we're going to try this.
Let's try it again. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm. I can hear you.
Okay, fine. I'm terribly sorry for interrupting you while you were while you were keeping up, and I was literally mocked by my phone, who said, "It's too hot out here. I won't function." That literally appeared on my phone screen.
If you're currently on the East Coast in the US, you know what that is like. There is a massive heat wave happening right now. The West Coast is doing okay so far. We just had some rain, and it's starting to warm up. But yeah, Italy is also not super cool right now.
This is the situation here. I'm like this.
But speaking of technology mocking you, we were talking about Shocktopia, which is the center of technology in Helluva Town. The Science Expo is in Shocktopia. The entire neighborhood as it is covered in these prefabs and factories and voltage towers with all of these bolts and lightning and coils and electricity, and imagine it as the seat of all energy and science development. And by science we mean like science development in Cartoon Town.
Yeah. It's where they do those potions that you brew and they become green and then blue and then violet and then green again. And what do they do? You never know if you don't drink it. Yeah, probably explode. Or even if you drink that, probably, they will probably explode. The answer usually in Helluva Town is, it's gonna explode. But
and then next up we have the Science Expo. We have Jellyfish Junction. Jellyfish Junction is definitely not Lovecraftian inspired fish people living on the docks worshipping eldritch beings. That is not, if you've heard that, you're wrong. No. I'm sorry. you should probably not ask any more questions, just in case the giant pterodactyl-sized storks come and send a small eldritch baby in your cot at night. It is currently run by the Fish Syndicate. And those are some of the main
Also,
areas in Helluva Town.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, I just wanted to say that this PDF that you are showing, it's the quick start that we linked before in the comments. So if if looking at this, you think to yourself, wow, that's really cool. First of all, thanks. Second of all, you can download it for free without any problem. Third of all, the art, as we said at the beginning, is by Sean Dickinson, which is the actual main artist for the Cuphead comics. So if you were wondering who's the genius hands behind these characters and these layout pages, that's him. That's Sean. That's the guy that when we said, can you please draw a cop that's a potato, said, sure.
Oh, I have to find the potato card. Hang on, let's find the potato card. Sorry about the sudden change of images. There's a car with teeth, which is great.
Yeah.
He is the potato god.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's the guy that we said, oh, Sean, why don't you do, a palace that's clearly, a love palace with all the pleasures and stuff. And we said, a couple of details, but however you feel comfortable. And he said, oh, details. Okay. And basically drew us something with a different scene in all of the windows. I am in awe of his ability to, recreate this kind of atmosphere. And I think he really nailed what kind of game we were trying to do. Also, one of the arts by Sean is going to be the fabulous enamel pin that all the early bird bakers will get if they choose a physical pledge, which is, it's Luna. Luna, it's the character of the pin. And I think it's a very nice gadget, to use. Also, Luna is apparently the favorite character of everyone who browsed through the quick start, or so we're told.
Apparently so. I still think Billy Mochaccino is a very close behind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we were thinking about maybe doing for one of the pledge levels a T-shirt, and we did some polls, and the results are really, really close to one another. So we are not actually ready to reveal who will grace the T-shirt design for one of the pledges, but just know that Billy Mochaccino with a white tuxedo and this colored version of Luna are the ones that are head-to-head in the choosing process.
We call that a flat white.
That was mean. That was mean.
Somebody stop me.
No, okay. I want, absolutely. We're going to use all of these in the book.
So we've been through Grin Gardens, we've been through Shocktopia, we've been through Jellyfish Junction. There's of course there's the train that travels through the entirety of Helluva Town as well. You will encounter I will not spoil in the adventure included in the quick start if you want to find out more about the troubles and trials and tribulations of a young train. You should probably find out just what is going on in his life.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to suggest viewers to ask that to the train, because it could be
please ask the train. The animator will spend maybe 20 minutes listing everything wrong with this train. I hope that is one of my favorite parts about the game is the amount of just random information that may or may not be relevant to the players that you can give in any given scene, and the players will decide if it's relevant or not. Like they can take a detail and just take it and go and run with it, and then it's like, and that is now canon. That now exists in your world. They just made that bit of reality come into fruition.
Exactly, just like cartoons.
Just like cartoons.
Yeah.
Also,
you have a pencil to draw, and it's your mind.
Yeah. I realized I have this page open, and there's one of my favorite lines that I think went a little. Sometimes I write jokes for me and for no one else when I do translation. But in the Maison de Ronron, which is the house of ill repute that Camila was mentioning, that Sean had fun with the details.
Okay.
Inside the Maison, young, sexy, lightly dressed hamburgers share their buns for you. And I was very happy and very proud of lightly dressed and shaking their buns. But that's that's how I do details.
Chef's kiss. I like that. I like the way of making details. Alex, I think we've touched all the main points, and I'm using these words after the description of lightly dressed sharing puns. Voluntarily. But I think we shared all the major points of what's Helluva Town, how to play it. We shared the links to the campaign, to the Dropbox folder. Sorry, I couldn't think about the English word for that. With the free quick start and all the pre-generated characters. So I honestly think we did all we had to. And the more we can do is to remember everyone to follow us on our social media profiles, because we'll share some more images and details about the lore. We'll start obviously sharing more about the pledges, the pledge levels, the campaign, what can you expect maybe with the various pledges, because it actually starts in very little time, because we'll be up in the first days of July. Maybe we'll do the official announcements on our pages, but I can say to you that we'll start in the first days of July. Okay. So
early July.
Get ready.
Keep an eye out on early July on Kickstarter for Helluva Town.
Exactly.
It's an early bird pledge. Backers will get a pin with Luna Sapana, and then more to come.
The Sexy Devilas.
Sexy Devil.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, keep your eyes open, because there will be soon the possibility to sign up to play with our wonderful Alex on Discord with this game. Yeah, you.
I always love when I am volunteered for things that I didn't know were happening. It's always a great surprise to me.
Well, you said before that it's that you actually said yes.
I think I said yes to someone at some point.
Exactly. That was me. That was a mistake, Alex. Thank you so much for following us, or for for watching this after we went live. In that case, I'm sorry you had to suffer all the points in which my internet connection and my phone decided that working is too much trouble for them.
Hey, I get it. But just quit your job.
Yeah.
The only reason you should keep your job right now, not you, Camila, just everyone watching. The only reason you should keep your job is so you can get money to buy more games. That's the only reason you should be working a job. That's it. I said it. I said my piece.
Exactly. With this piece of wisdom, I think we can say that's mad, folks, and goodbye and good evening or good day to all of you.
Woo!